You are living inside a story, but here's the shocking truth. It isn't the only story you could be living. Around you, unseen and untouched, infinite versions of reality are vibrating, waiting for you to choose which one will become real. Most people never realize this. They keep walking the same path, trapped in the same loops, repeating the same patterns, wondering why their lives never change. They want more freedom, more love, more success. But no matter what they do, they always end up back where they started. Here's the moment of truth. You are not stuck because of fate, destiny, or bad luck. You are stuck because your entire system, your mind, your body, your emotions, even the energy humming through your cells, is still tuned to an old timeline. That timeline feels safe because it's familiar. It's predictable. Even if it's painful, even if you hate it, part of you clings to it because it knows how to survive there. Think of it like this. Imagine you're standing in a dark room with a single door. That door has always been open, but you never noticed because you were too busy pacing back and forth in the same corner, telling yourself there was no way out. Most people live their entire lives like this, not because there is no other door, but because they never turn to see it. The first step is seeing. Seeing that your life right now is just one possible expression of who you could be. Seeing that every version of you, the powerful, the brave, the free, the abundant, already exists in the field of infinite potential. You don't need to force these realities into being. You don't need to beg the universe to deliver them. You only need to align with the version of you that already lives there. But here's where most people get it wrong. They try to escape the old timeline by wishing harder, by making vision boards, repeating affirmations, visualizing every day. They think if they just want it badly enough, reality will bend to their desire. And yet, nothing changes. Why? Because the universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you are. Beneath your words, beneath your conscious thoughts, your body is broadcasting a signal. That signal is made up of your deepest emotions, your expectations, your unspoken beliefs. You might say, I am ready for abundance. But if your body tightens with fear every time you open a bill, the dominant signal is still scarcity. You might visualize love, but if your heart is armored and closed, the dominant signal is still isolation. The quantum field listens to the dominant signal, not the loudest one. This is why change feels impossible. Because on the surface, you are doing everything right, but underneath, your system is addicted to the familiar. Old emotional loops keep playing like broken records. Fear, doubt, self-protection, distrust. These patterns are invisible, but they are powerful. They keep pulling you back into the same experiences, no matter how hard you try to rise above them. The key to breaking free isn't to fight the old timeline. You can't fight energy with force. You can only shift it by becoming something new, a different frequency, a different vibration, a different version of you. This isn't about pretending or faking it. It's not about acting confident while feeling terrified inside. It's about deeply, fully embodying the state of being that matches the reality you want. When you do this, the quantum field has no choice but to respond. So pause for a moment. Breathe. Ask yourself this. Which version of you has been making your choices today? The fearful one, the hopeful one, the one who clings to the past, or the one who dares to create a future? Every thought, every reaction, every breath feeds a timeline. Which timeline are you feeding right now? And are you ready, truly ready, to let the old version of you fade so a new one can rise? The doorway has always been there. The question is, will you finally step through it? This is where your quantum shift begins. Most people never understand why they keep repeating the same experiences, even after they've tried everything to change. They read books, take courses, repeat affirmations, visualize their dreams, and yet, months later, they find themselves back in the same relationships, the same money struggles, the same inner battles. It feels like running on a treadmill, exhausting, endless, and going nowhere. Here's the truth no one tells you. It's not because you're doing manifestation wrong. It's not because you don't want it badly enough. It's not because the universe is punishing you or withholding blessings. You keep looping because you are still entangled with the version of yourself that belongs to the old timeline. Your subconscious mind loves what is familiar. It doesn't care if the familiar is painful or limiting. It only cares that it knows how to survive there. Survival feels safe, even when it's miserable. That's why you might sabotage new opportunities, push away love, or shrink from growth without even realizing you're doing it. Think about it. If you've spent years living in fear or scarcity, your body has become wired for those states. Your nervous system literally expects them. Fear becomes home. Scarcity becomes normal. And anything outside of that feels like a threat, even if it's something you consciously desire. This is why resistance shows up the moment you try to change. Resistance is sneaky. It doesn't always look like fear. Sometimes it shows up as overthinking, analyzing every detail until you paralyze yourself. Sometimes it's procrastination, promising you'll start tomorrow, but never actually starting. Sometimes it's hyperproductivity, staying so busy you never have to feel what's really going on inside. Sometimes it's the voice in your head that says, be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. Stay safe. But all resistance comes down to one thing. Your system believes it's safer to stay in the old reality than to leap into the unknown. And this belief doesn't live in your conscious mind. It lives in your body, in stored trauma, suppressed emotions, inherited fears. This is why you can know all the theory in the world, but still not live it. You can repeat affirmations like a mantra, but if your heart is racing and your chest is tight with anxiety, the dominant signal you're sending to the quantum field is fear, not faith. Quantum physics explains this perfectly through the observer effect. In the quantum realm, infinite possibilities exist as waves, pure potential. But when an observer focuses on one, it collapses into a single reality. The twist is that you're not just observing the world with your eyes. You're observing it with your beliefs, your emotions, your expectations. Now add neuroscience to the mix. Around 95% of your behavior is driven by the subconscious mind. That means most of the time, it's not your conscious intentions creating your reality. It's your old programming. Your deepest patterns, shaped by years of experiences, trauma, and conditioning, are what truly collapse the wave. This is why manifestation feels so frustrating. You're trying to create from the 5% of you that's awake and aware, while the other 95% is still tuned to fear, lack, distrust, and survival. The field responds to the dominant signal, always. So when people say, manifestation doesn't work, what they really mean is, I haven't yet shifted the inner observer who's creating my world. Here's another way to look at it. Imagine you move to a new city to start a fresh chapter. You get a new job, a new apartment, new friends. But a few months later, you notice something strange. The same problems from your old life have followed you. Different faces, different places, but the same feelings, the same conflicts. Why? Because you changed your environment, but you didn't change your internal frequency. The timeline can't shift if the observer hasn't shifted. And so the loop continues. You may even start to believe that you're cursed or doomed to repeat the past. But it's not a curse. It's physics. Your life is like a radio. If you keep broadcasting on the same station, you'll keep hearing the same song. To experience something new, you don't smash the radio or yell at it to play different music. You simply change the frequency. This is the essence of quantum manifestation. You don't fight the old timeline. You don't try to destroy it. You stop feeding it. You tune your system to a new signal, one that matches the reality you want. But before you can do that, you must first understand what's been keeping you stuck. Not just in your thoughts, but in your body, your emotions, and your nervous system. Because here's the key. Transformation isn't intellectual. You can't think your way into a new life. You must become the new life. And that begins with recognizing resistance for what it truly is, not an enemy to battle, but a signpost showing you exactly where your system still believes it's unsafe to change. In the next part, we'll explore how to release that resistance and step into a new version of yourself so fully that the old reality no longer has any power over you. This is where the real shift begins. The secret to true transformation isn't found in thinking harder, visualizing longer, or pushing yourself to want more. It's not about fighting against the old version of you or trying to prove that you've changed. Real change happens on a deeper level, in the body, in the emotions, in the very frequency you radiate. Most people try to shift timelines only with their minds. They tell themselves, I know abundance is possible. I know love is out there. I know healing is real. And yes, knowing is the first step, but knowing isn't enough. If your body doesn't know it, if your emotions don't feel it, if your daily actions don't reflect it, then the signal you're sending to the quantum field is still the old one. Think of it this way. You can't just think about swimming and expect to cross the ocean. At some point, you have to get into the water. Embodiment is the act of getting into the water. It's the practice of living now as the version of you who already has what you desire, even before the external evidence appears. When you embody a new reality, you stop waiting for proof. You stop saying, "I'll feel grateful when I get the job." Instead, you generate gratitude now, before the offer arrives. You stop saying, "I'll relax when I'm financially secure." Instead, you breathe deeply and release tension, showing your nervous system what safety feels like today. You stop saying, "I'll open my heart when I find the right person." Instead, you open it now, signaling love before it appears in form. This is the essence of a quantum shift. You become the vibrational match for the reality you want. And once you match it, reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Let's make this practical. Imagine you want to shift into a timeline of abundance. If you keep making choices from fear, hoarding every penny, feeling anxious every time you spend money, the dominant signal you're broadcasting is lack. The field hears, "I don't trust there will be enough." But if you spend with presence and gratitude, even something small, like buying yourself a coffee with joy instead of guilt, you start to shift your frequency. You begin to embody abundance, even if the numbers in your bank account haven't changed yet. If you want to shift into a love timeline, embodiment might mean softening your heart instead of shutting down when you feel vulnerable. It could be as simple as making eye contact, offering a kind word, or letting yourself be seen when part of you wants to hide. These small acts signal to the field, "I am love. I am open. I am ready." For a health timeline, embodiment might look like caring for your body as though it is already strong and vibrant. Feeding it with respect, moving it with gratitude, resting it with love, not as a punishment or a fix, but as an expression of wholeness. See the pattern? You don't wait for the timeline to shift and then change how you live. You change how you live, and the timeline shifts in response. Most people make the mistake of conditional alignment. They think, "I'll feel different when reality changes." But the quantum doesn't work like that. It's always responding to the now. When you say, "I am whole, I am abundant, I am loved," but secretly feel broken, fearful, and unworthy, the dominant signal remains the old timeline. This is why external effort alone doesn't work. You can take all the action in the world, but if the action is coming from desperation or lack, the field reflects that frequency back to you. It's like planting seeds in poisoned soil. No matter how much you water them, they won't grow. Tesla said, "If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." He wasn't speaking metaphorically. Your life is a frequency. Your thoughts, your emotions, your posture, your breath, all of it creates a vibrational pattern. When you shift that pattern, you don't have to fight the old reality. It simply dissolves because it no longer matches you. Here's where it gets truly powerful. The version of you who has what you desire isn't in the future. They exist right now, in this very moment, vibrating on a different frequency. They are already real, already alive in the field of infinite potential. Your job isn't to create them, it's to tune into them. Imagine turning a radio dial. When you move the dial, you don't create the station. The station was already there, broadcasting. You simply adjusted yourself to receive it. That's what embodiment is. It's the dial. So pause. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to already be the version of me who lives in my desired timeline? How would you breathe? How would you walk? What choices would you make today? These subtle shifts are not small. They are everything. Because in the quantum, the difference between who you are and who you want to be is not measured in time. It's measured in frequency. You don't have to wait. You don't have to earn it. You only have to match it. In the next part, we'll explore how to bring this into your daily life, step by step, so you can stop endlessly consuming information and finally start living the shift, moment by moment. This is where theory becomes reality, and reality becomes transformation. We live in a world flooded with information. Endless videos, books, podcasts, and courses promise transformation. It's so easy to spend hours consuming knowledge and feel like you're making progress. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Consuming is not the same as changing. You can understand every theory, memorize every technique, and still wake up tomorrow living the same life. Why? Because true quantum shift happens through integration, not information. You don't become a new version of yourself by learning about it. You become that version by living it, moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. Most people make the mistake of waiting for something dramatic to signal that the change is real. They think shifting timelines requires massive external action, quitting a job, ending a relationship, moving to another city. But the quantum field doesn't respond to the size of the gesture. It responds to coherence, the alignment between your thoughts, emotions, body, and actions. A single small act done with pure, aligned intention carries more power than a grand move done from fear or desperation. Think of it like a tuning fork. Even a tiny fork can create a powerful vibration if it's perfectly in tune. This is where microalignment comes in. The practice of shifting your frequency through subtle, consistent choices that match the reality you desire. Let's look at some examples. If you're shifting into an abundance timeline, microalignment might mean pausing before you pay a bill. Instead of tensing up with fear or resentment, you take one deep, conscious breath and silently say, "I am grateful for this exchange. I trust there is more than enough." It might mean spending money with presence, even on small things, like buying food or coffee with joy instead of guilt. It could be as simple as noticing when scarcity thoughts arise and gently choosing gratitude instead of panic. If you're shifting toward love, microalignment might be softening your body language when you feel like closing off. Maybe it's placing your hand over your heart before a difficult conversation and silently whispering, "I am safe to love." It could mean reaching out to someone with kindness instead of withdrawing into silence, or practicing vulnerability even when it feels terrifying. If your focus is health, microalignment could be choosing foods and movements from a place of respect rather than punishment. It might mean slowing down to listen to your body instead of pushing through exhaustion. Even replacing a single critical thought about your body with one sentence of compassion is a powerful signal to the field. I am healing. I am whole. These may seem like small gestures, almost too small to matter. But in quantum reality, small, consistent actions are what rewire your system. Each choice becomes a vote for your new timeline. Every breath, every word, every step broadcasts, "This is who I am now." Here's what most people miss. The practice isn't about perfection. It's about returning. You will wobble. You will fall back into old patterns. You will catch yourself thinking, feeling, or behaving as the old version of you. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. The real power lies in how quickly you come back. Every time you notice yourself slipping into fear and gently guide yourself back to trust, you strengthen the new timeline. Every time you pause instead of reacting, breathe instead of spiraling, choose love instead of armor, you are literally collapsing a new reality into being. This is the dance of quantum embodiment. Falling, returning, over and over, until the new frequency becomes natural, automatic, effortless. For some, tools can help anchor this practice. Breath work, meditation, sound frequencies, or sacred symbols like 369 or 777 can serve as reminders to tune your system. These tools are not magic tricks. They don't create change for you. They simply help your subconscious receive the message, "I am aligned with my chosen reality." But remember, no tool matters if you are passive. A crystal won't shift you. A number sequence won't save you. These things only amplify what you are already living. So here is your invitation for today. Identify one single pattern from your old timeline, one reaction, one behavior, one story you are ready to disrupt. Then choose one small action that embodies your new timeline. Do it today. Do it with presence. Do it with love. Maybe it's as simple as pausing for 3 conscious breaths before you speak. Maybe it's saying one sentence from the perspective of your future self instead of your fearful self. Maybe it's sitting quietly for 2 minutes, imagining yourself already living in your chosen reality and feeling the frequency of it in your body. It's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And here's the beauty. The quantum field doesn't need time to catch up. It responds instantly to the signal you send. The moment you embody a new state, the old timeline begins to dissolve. You are not alone in this. Across the world, countless people are awakening, practicing, returning, shifting together. Every act you take ripples outward, influencing not just your life, but the collective field. As you step into this practice, know that even the smallest act matters. A single breath, a single choice, a single moment of coherence can change everything. In the next and final part of this journey, we'll explore how to sustain this shift, how to live fully inside your new reality so the old one never pulls you back again. Because visiting the new timeline once isn't enough. You must make it your home. And when you do, the quantum field will rise to meet you in ways you can't yet imagine. You've made it this far. You've explored the science, the energy, the subconscious layers, and the practice of alignment. But now comes the most important part, sustaining the shift. Because a true quantum transformation isn't about visiting your desired timeline for a moment, feeling inspired, and then slipping back into the old patterns. It's about living there, every day, until the old reality no longer has any power over you. Most people treat manifestation like a one-time event. They visualize, they journal, they repeat affirmations, they take action, and then they wait. When results don't show up right away, they lose faith. They fall back into fear, scarcity, and doubt, unknowingly reattaching themselves to the old timeline. But here's the secret. The quantum field doesn't care about temporary effort. It responds to the signal you broadcast consistently. Think of it like electricity. You can't flip the light switch on and off randomly and expect the room to stay bright. The current has to keep flowing. The same is true for your alignment. Every time you hold the signal, even for a few breaths, you are strengthening it. Every time you return after wobbling, you are reinforcing your new reality. This is mastery, not perfection, not forcing yourself to feel good all the time or pretending to be high vibe when you're not. True mastery is about returning to alignment again and again, no matter what happens outside of you. So how do you do this in daily life? Here's a simple roadmap. First, daily awareness. Before your feet even touch the ground in the morning, pause and tune in. Ask yourself, what frequency am I bringing into today? Are you carrying fear or trust, scarcity or abundance, clenched fists or open hands? Set the tone before the world pulls you in 100 different directions. Second, embodied action. Throughout the day, notice when your actions match your desired timeline and when they don't. If you want abundance, are you acting with generosity or hoarding in fear? If you want love, are you opening or armoring? If you want health, are you nurturing or neglecting? Small, repeated shifts matter far more than dramatic leaps. Third, emotional regulation. You will get triggered. You will face doubt. This is not a failure. It's part of the human experience. The power lies not in avoiding difficult emotions, but in how you move through them. When you feel yourself spiraling, pause. Take a breath. Ground yourself. Reconnect to the version of you who already knows. This is who I am now. Fourth, symbols and community. Surround yourself with reminders of the new timeline. It could be sacred numbers like 369 or 777, powerful mantras, or visual cues placed around your home. These symbols speak directly to your subconscious, reinforcing your chosen frequency. And just as important, stay close to people who support your growth. The right community can help you stay aligned when your own energy falters. Fifth, gratitude as an amplifier. Gratitude isn't just a nice idea. It's a frequency. It is the emotional signature of already having what you desire. When you practice genuine gratitude, you send a powerful message to the quantum field. I am aligned. I am whole. I am ready. This accelerates the collapse of the wave into physical reality. Remember this. You're not doing these practices to get somewhere. You're doing them because this is the somewhere. You're not chasing the timeline. You're becoming the timeline. And as you embody this, something extraordinary begins to happen. The old reality fades, not because you destroyed it, but because it no longer matches who you are. Just like a snake shedding its skin, you outgrow it. The struggles that once felt overwhelming simply stop appearing because they no longer belong to your frequency. Pause for a moment and reflect on this. Right now, as you listen, you are not the same person who pressed play on this journey. Your awareness has shifted. Your energy has shifted. You are carrying a new code inside you, a code that can't be unseen, a code that will continue to ripple through your life in ways you can't yet measure. The question is, what will you do with it? Here's my invitation to you. Not a task, not homework, but a living, breathing choice. In the next 24 hours, surprise yourself. Do one thing, no matter how small, that belongs to the version of you living in your desired timeline. Maybe it's a bold decision. Maybe it's a quiet moment of self-care. Maybe it's a single thought spoken softly to yourself. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be real. When you take that action, know this: you are no longer waiting for change. You are being the change. And if this message has awakened something in you, stay connected. Stay close to voices, symbols, and spaces that keep you aligned. Surround yourself with reminders of who you are becoming, so you don't slip back into who you were. The quantum field is always listening. Every breath, every word, every choice is a signal. Keep sending the signal of who you truly are, and reality will rearrange itself to meet you. You've stepped through the doorway. Now keep walking. Keep choosing. Keep surprising yourself, because the universe is ready to surprise you right back.